What if I told you that the exercise you've been relying on to stay healthy may actually be slowing your progress after 60, and that a few simple wall exercises could deliver faster improvements in strength, balance, and pain relief? Here's something that shocked even me as a medical professional reviewing the latest research. A groundbreaking 2023 analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed more than 15,000 adults over age 60 and discovered that those who replaced traditional walking routines with 5 specific targeted exercises saw far greater improvements in strength, stability, and mobility than the walking group. That's not a typo. We're talking about nearly doubling your physical capability while dramatically reducing injury risk. The researchers were so surprised by these results that the trials were repeated in several countries to confirm the findings. What's even more fascinating is that participants spent less total time exercising than the walking group, yet achieved superior results across every single health marker that was measured. Blood pressure dropped, joint discomfort decreased, and measures of balance and lower body strength showed significantly greater improvement compared to walking alone. But here's what really got my attention, and why you need to hear this. The number one exercise on this list is something so simple that almost every participant could do it immediately without any equipment or training. Yet this single movement activated powerful neuromuscular and mechanotransduction pathways, the same biological mechanisms that researchers at Harvard and other leading medical institutions have linked to improved balance, stronger legs, and healthier aging. And I'm saving the best for last because once you understand the science behind it, you'll never look at walking the same way again. This could mean the difference between walking strong at 80 or needing a cane by 70. Before we begin, tell us your age and where you're watching from. We read and reply to every comment. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. Number 5. Isometric wall push-ups with a hold. Starting our list with the simplest movement, wall push-ups might look too easy to matter, but the science tells a completely different story. A 2023 clinical analysis published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that adults over 60 who performed wall push-ups with a brief isometric hold increased their upper body functional strength by 34% in just 6 weeks, far outperforming the results from walking. Here's why this matters more than you might think. After age 60, we lose approximately 3% of our muscle mass every year unless we actively combat it. This isn't just about looking good. Loss of upper body strength directly correlates with difficulty performing daily tasks like carrying groceries, opening jars, pushing yourself out of a chair, or catching yourself if you start to fall. The wall push-up with hold specifically targets what exercise physiologists call functional strength patterns. These are the exact movement patterns you use dozens of times throughout your day without even realizing it. To perform this exercise correctly, stand about arm's length from a wall. Place your palms flat against the wall at shoulder height and shoulder width apart with your feet together or slightly apart. Slowly lean forward until your nose nearly touches the wall. This is where the magic happens. Hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds. You should feel engagement through your chest, shoulders, arms, and surprisingly, your core muscles, too. Then push back slowly to the starting position. The key here is the tempo. Take 2 seconds to lean in. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds. Then take 2 seconds to push back. This slow, controlled movement increases time under tension, which researchers have shown is far more effective for building strength after 60 than rapid repetitions. Start with just 5 repetitions and gradually work up to 15. If it feels too easy, step your feet further back. If it's too challenging, move closer. A recent University of British Columbia study found that performing this movement 3 times per week not only increased pushing strength by over 40%, but also improved reaction time, a critical factor in fall prevention. Now, let's move on to number 4, which targets one of the most important muscle groups for stability and walking power. Number 4, wall kickbacks with resistance. Number 4 brings us to wall kickbacks, and if you think leaning on a wall makes this exercise easy, you're in for a surprise. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that targeted glute extension exercises, movements identical to wall kickbacks, improved hip strength by 32% and increased walking power by 28% in adults over 60. Another analysis from the European Review of Aging and Physical Activity showed that strengthening the glutes directly reduced fall risk by improving step height and stability. These aren't just random numbers. Weak glutes are one of the most common and most overlooked causes of balance problems, slow walking speed, difficulty climbing stairs, and even lower back pain after 60. Your glutes and hamstrings are essentially the engine of your walking power. When they weaken, every step becomes harder and less stable. Wall kickbacks target the gluteus maximus and hamstrings while engaging your core and hip stabilizers. These are the exact muscles responsible for every time you take a step, climb stairs, or stand up from a chair. Traditional walking doesn't load these muscles enough to prevent age-related decline. This movement does. Here's how to perform it correctly. Stand facing a wall with your hands placed lightly against it for support. Keep your chest lifted and core slightly engaged. Shift your weight onto your left leg and extend your right leg straight back behind you, squeezing your glutes as you lift. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds, then slowly return without letting your foot swing forward. The key form point is to lift with your glutes, not by arching your lower back. If your back starts taking over, you're lifting too high. Keep the movement small, slow, and controlled. Perform 10 to 15 controlled kickbacks per leg. Working one leg at a time helps correct natural muscle imbalances, improving symmetry, stability, and overall walking power. To progress, step farther from the wall, add a light ankle weight, or pause longer at the top to increase time under tension. Now, let's move on to number 3, an exercise that targets one of the most important systems for preventing falls and staying steady on your feet. Number 3, single leg wall balance with challenge. Coming in at number 3, wall-assisted single leg balance holds might look simple, but they're addressing one of the most overlooked aspects of healthy aging, your balance system and ankle stability. A landmark 2023 study from the National Institute on Aging found that single leg balance ability was one of the strongest predictors of long-term independence in adults over 60. Participants who could hold a single leg stance for at least 10 seconds were 71% less likely to experience a serious fall and had over 60% fewer injuries related to balance loss. These aren't just random numbers. The reason is fascinating. Your balance system relies on your eyes, your inner ear vestibular system, and the small stabilizing muscles around your hips and ankles. When these systems weaken, your fall risk skyrockets, and traditional walking does almost nothing to strengthen them. Here's how to perform this exercise correctly. Stand tall next to a wall, lightly touching it with your fingertips. Shift your weight onto one leg and lift the opposite foot a few inches off the ground. Here's where we add the challenge that makes this exercise exponentially more effective. At the top of the movement, turn your head slightly left or right and hold for 5 to 10 seconds while looking straight ahead. This activates your vestibular system, which naturally declines with age. Slowly lower your foot back to the ground, taking about 3 seconds on the way down. This controlled lowering phase is where your stabilizer muscles work the hardest. Start with 5 holds per leg, aiming to reach 10 to 15 seconds each. To progress, try hovering your hand off the wall, closing your eyes briefly, or placing a small pillow under your foot to create gentle instability. These variations dramatically improve your body's ability to react, stabilize, and correct missteps. This kind of balance training trains your brain and muscles to work together more effectively, creating new neural pathways that enhance coordination. A 2024 study from Japan's Longevity Research Institute found that adults who practice single-leg balance training several times per week improved neuromuscular coordination by over 40% and showed brain aging markers equivalent to people 10 to 15 years younger. Now we're approaching the top 2 exercises, and number 2 is going to surprise you with its incredible efficiency. Number 2, isometric wall squats. Our runner-up position goes to modified squats. And before you worry about your knees, let me share some game-changing research. A groundbreaking 2023 network meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine analyzed 270 clinical trials involving more than 15,000 participants and found that isometric wall squats were not only safe for older adults, including those with knee discomfort, but actually produced the largest improvements in blood pressure and lower body strength of any exercise tested. In several trials, knee pain decreased by nearly 50% when wall sits were performed correctly. The key word here is correctly. And I'll show you exactly how this exercise earned the number 2 spot, because it works more major muscle groups simultaneously than almost any movement you can do at home. We're talking about your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, core, hip stabilizers, and even your back muscles all working in concert. Here's why this matters so much after 60. The sit-stand movement is something you perform dozens of times a day, and it's often the first ability people lose as they age. Once you can't get up from a chair without help, your world suddenly becomes much smaller. Wall sits strengthen the exact muscles responsible for standing up, climbing stairs, and walking confidently on uneven ground. Here's how to perform wall sits properly. Stand with your back against a wall and walk your feet forward about 2 ft. Slide down until your thighs reach a comfortable angle. It does not need to be a perfect 90 degrees. Hold for 10 to 20 seconds, keeping your knees behind your toes and your core gently engaged. Slow, controlled breathing is crucial, and remember, this slow, controlled phase is where the strength building actually occurs. Start with 5 holds, resting 10 to 15 seconds between each one. Gradually work up to 30 to 45 second-on holds. A 2023 multi-center trial found that performing wall squats 3 times per week lowered systolic blood pressure by nearly 13 points in 12 weeks. Results comparable to certain medications with none of the side effects. Here's a progression strategy that works best. Lower deeper into the squat. Extend one leg slightly forward or increase your hold time each week. Small changes create big neuromuscular improvements. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the number 1 exercise that's redefining what's possible for people over 60. Number 1, walls-supported dead bug progressions. Taking the number 1 spot are walls-supported dead bug progressions. And when you understand the science behind this movement, you'll see why it's creating so much excitement among spine specialists and physiotherapists. This is the exercise I teased at the beginning, the one that ties together everything we've talked about: strength, balance, brain health, and long-term independence. The wall-supported dead bug might look strange at first, but it's one of the only movements that targets nearly every major concern of aging at the same time: core stability, posture, coordination, fall prevention, and even healthy blood pressure and circulation. Recent research on cross-pattern core training in older adults shows dramatic improvements in balance, reaction time, and confidence with daily activities when these movements are practiced consistently. Let me explain what makes this exercise so extraordinary. In the walls-supported dead bug, you're lying on your back while pressing your hands into a wall and moving opposite arm and leg in a controlled pattern. This crosslateral pattern mirrors how your body naturally works when you walk, climb stairs, or reach while standing. Your brain has to coordinate left and right sides of the body at the same time, which lights up the areas involved in balance, spatial awareness, and motor control. Here's how to perform it correctly. Lie on your back with your head close to a wall and your knees bent to 90 degrees. Press your hands gently into the wall at shoulder height. This activates your core without straining your spine. Now slowly lift your feet so your knees are stacked over your hips. From here, extend your right leg out while pressing your left hand firmly into the wall. Hold for 5 seconds, then return to the starting position and switch sides. The goal is to keep your lower back gently braced against the floor and your breathing slow and controlled. Start with 5 controlled repetitions per side, holding each position for 5 seconds. As you get stronger, you can progress to 8 to 10-second holds or add a subtle reach through the hand and heel as if you're trying to make yourself longer. This intentional tension spreads through your entire body, recruiting more muscle fibers and building stronger neuromuscular connections. The research on cross-pattern core and balance training in adults over 60 is remarkable. Studies show significant improvements in core strength, lower back comfort, walking stability, and confidence with tasks like reaching, turning, and getting in and out of bed. Combined with wall sits, wall push-ups, and single-leg wall balance, this final movement helps create a system that doesn't just maintain your abilities, it actively rebuilds them. And this brings us to why these 5 wall exercises can outperform walking alone for people over 60. While walking is certainly beneficial and far better than being sedentary, it doesn't give your body the specific targeted challenges it needs to stay strong, stable, and adaptable with age. These wall-based movements build strength in multiple directions, challenge your balance and coordination, improve circulation and blood pressure, and sharpen the brain-body connection that keeps you moving confidently through life. The total time investment for all 5 exercises is about 20 to 25 minutes, 3 to 4 times per week. Compare that to the hour-long walks often recommended, and you're looking at less than half the time commitment for dramatically more targeted results. Large reviews of strength and balance programs show up to a 34% reduction in falls and significantly better mobility when exercises like these are added to a routine, especially when they use the wall for safe support and precise loading. We've linked the key research papers and case studies we mentioned in the description below, so you can explore them yourself or share them with your doctor. Remember, the key to success with these exercises isn't perfection, it's progression. Start where you are. Even if that means holding the wall a little more, going a little shallower in your wall squats, or doing fewer repetitions, your body will adapt quickly. The evidence is clear. It's never too late to get stronger, steadier, and more capable. Your muscles, bones, and nervous system remain trainable for life. They just need the right kind of challenge, and a simple wall can provide it. Now, we want to hear from you. What's one daily activity that's become harder for you after 60 that you'd love to improve? And honestly, how many minutes a week are you currently spending on intentional exercise? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one, and your answers help us decide what to film next. Thank you for watching and for taking the time today to invest in your future self. Before you go, I recommend the video on your screen as your next step. It's the ideal companion to today's routine and a great way to keep improving day by day.